Hey there, English speakers, Jesse here. And I'm always telling you that my biggest piece of advice for taking the IELTS exam, become obsessed with it. One man, one exam. Who will overcome the other? Next in your speaking exam. Anyway, become obsessed. Always have it in the back of your mind, right? That's what I'm saying. That's what I say all the time. Have it in the back of your mind. What do you mean, Jesse? What do you mean always have it in the back of your mind? Let me give you an example. And this will, by the way, help your English fluency in general, help you think in English a little bit more. That's one common thing that holds a lot of learners back, is they think in their language and then try to translate it into English. And that just kind of slows down the communication, doesn't it? Because if you're listening to what I say and you're trying to translate it into your language, there's a bit of a gap. We want to decrease that gap. That's what we're trying to do. So how can we do that? Always have your stories, what happens in your day, in the back of your mind. I love the IELTS exam part 2. Love might be a strong word. But I like it as far as English exams go because it's the most natural. You're just asked to speak about a topic. Yeah, they give you questions to discuss, but mostly it's speaking about a topic, right? And you're judged on how effectively and how naturally you can sound, aren't you? So don't forget those question tags and the intonation, aren't you? Or aren't you? Those are two different things, but you knew that. So a good idea in IELTS preparation specifically is, if a story happens to you or something happens in your day, try to make questions for yourself and answer those questions within a 2-minute time period. I'll show you what I mean. I bought a phone case, a phone cover the other day because, long story short, I had to buy a new phone. So I did, and with the phone you gotta buy a new cover, so if you drop it the screen doesn't break, even though that didn't help me before. But anyway, it's a good idea to do. So I bought a phone cover, and there's a whole ordeal, and eventually I regretted buying the cover that I chose. And I'll tell you that in my story, because I created my own IELTS question for this story. I want to tell this story. I've been telling the story, well, in English and Spanish, because I'm learning Spanish because I'm living here in Spain. But I'm going to demonstrate what I mean in English for you. So I created a question. Let me show you my question. Describe a purchase you regret. You should say what it is, why you bought it, how you felt when you bought it, and you should explain why you regret buying it. So this is an example of what I mean by always have it in the back of your mind. This happened, it's a story I enjoy telling, so why not take the opportunity to try telling the story in English, right? I'm going to get into it. I'm going to give myself 1 minute to write notes, and then I'm going to talk about it for 2 minutes. And I'll see you after this transition. Well, I'm going to talk about a phone cover that I bought last week because I dropped my phone the week before, or a few days before, and getting it replaced was a whole ordeal. Well, getting it fixed was a whole ordeal. So I ended up getting it replaced and buying a new phone. And you know how it is. When you buy a new phone, you've got to buy all new accessories. You've got to buy a case, a cover, a screen protection, the works. So that's what I did. And I bought my new phone and I needed to buy a phone cover because I had already dropped it again, but this time it didn't break. So I went to the store to look at the phone covers. Normally I like getting just the backside jelly case. They're flexible, thin, you don't even really notice it, and they work. But this time I thought maybe I want one of those book covers to cover the front and the back. And that way when it's in your pocket, it's a little more protected. So that's what I did. I looked for a book cover. And so I saw all these covers and I came across a red one. And I thought, red, that's different. Not many people have red. So I bought the red one. It looked like red in the shop with the shop lights on. So obviously I was happy about it at first until I got it home and put it on the table, left the room, came back. It suddenly looked like a pink phone. A strawberry pink phone that looked like it belonged to a 13-year-old girl. Really. Oh my goodness. I couldn't even believe it. Every time I look at it on the table, I hate it. And it's just a constant reminder, Jesse, think about what you do. So I'm going to keep it. I'm keeping it as kind of a punishment and a reminder to be a little more careful. And besides, I'm not just going to spend money on another phone cover. So just for the color. So I'm stuck with a strawberry pink phone cover. That's beautiful, but it doesn't fit me. Okay, I went a little long on this one. I'm gonna take a look at the language and let's dissect it together. And I want you to answer this question for yourself. Let's go.